Going live, and I'm live. Hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist in the lovely Spring Hill Suites in not Arlington, Texas, not even Lakeland, Florida. I'm in Orlando, Florida, because the hotel rooms in Lakeland were $400 a night versus there's $100 a night in Orlando. So I drove from Lakeland all the way to Orlando just for the night. And I'm going to raise up this laptop just so it's a little bit higher. All right, and here I am. You are first. Good evening, Mr. Bridges. Hey, Gavin. How are you doing? Talk to your buddies at Piedmont today, Gavin. Not your buddies. Talk to your coworkers at Piedmont today at the Sun and Fun. I was trying to get a vibe, not a vibe, to get the actual data on how guys are getting hired nowadays, as far as the hours and the pathways. Because it's one thing for me to talk to people on forum, but talk to the actual recruiters today. Hey, I like Hawaii, Kalui, if I said it wrong. MV and LE this weekend. Wish you, Mr. Taylor, you got this, man. Boom, you got this. I'm going to fly over the training center tomorrow and just look down and say, man, you got it. Thank you, Sheriff. I am in Orlando, Florida right now. No, Santa Fun's in Lakeland, Florida. I'm in Orlando because I'm cheap. For 2 hours from me, which I could be off. Hey, sorry. Hey, Sydney, Australia. What brings me to Florida? Sun and Fun. Sun and Fun. So I got media credentials because I make videos. So Sun and Fun was nice enough to give me media pass so I can get in for free and get parking for free. And there'll be a video about this probably next week. I hope I have time to do it. And it's going to focus a little bit on the air show, but a lot will be focused on not the airplanes, but why you should go to aviation events, especially if you want to be an airline pilot or any kind of pilot. There are so many companies here looking for pilots and pilot training as well. I am leaving tomorrow. You're 540 at 540 in DFW. But you know what, Mr. Taylor? I was the plug for a year. At least the contract where you are now, they can't force you to have airport ready reserve as your line. You'll probably still get it, but it won't. Unlike me, it won't be your line. Hey, Mr. Hayslip, thank you very much. And if you have any questions about the whole process, that's why I make videos. I don't make videos to sell you something or to look cool. I make videos so people like yourself have someone to ask a question to, right? And especially if I don't know everything, but I'm happy to answer the questions that I do know. I seem to be mainly from so the cadet thing, right? Yeah, they both mentioned like 80% cadets, 20% off the street. And I even posed a question to these airline recruiters, and I gave them like, what if I was a CFI at 1,500 hours? Oh, well, we don't really want you in the cadet program then, so sorry. So what if I was off the street? Well, that's fine, but I think PSA wanted a PPL first, and maybe even Piedmont. But PSA and Piedmont have different ways of getting you into the cadet program. I was surprised by that. I thought both being wholly owned, they'd both be the same as far as what they offered you and how even the pathway to airline pilot, but they were very different. Line holder next month. So what I would do is, I'm sure you are doing this anyway, but always talk to the captain you fly with. Say, hey man, you line holder, what are some tips for me? Because every new line holder makes mistakes. I made lots of mistakes. I make mistakes even now, and I've been flying for 18 years. So yeah, ask lots of questions. We just get a line to see what you can do, what you can't do, and even there's differences between line holder and reserve. At least where I am, even for like reassignments and stuff. So your life changes when you're a line holder versus reserve. I had Tijuana flats and my sinuses are acting up. Then maybe tomorrow you'll see Max 738 leaving from Orlando tomorrow. Good. I was on a Max today on Southwest. Mr. Taylor, exactly. and you know what? The whole time we've talked, you've always been in the gratitude aspect, and that's a great mindset, and it's a great mindset to have. You never, and I'm not saying you or anyone like this, but some pilots, especially young pilots, are in the I deserve, you should give me whatever, right? And you've always been in the appreciative and gracious mindset, and that's going to do well for you in your career. What happens if you time out while abroad? It has happened, Mr. Sharif. And are there any circumstances where plane safety features will override override the pilot? So, timing out abroad. That happened to me in Tokyo. Um, I was supposed to be like half an hour of extra cushion time. We got delayed. I ended up going illegal to fly back to Dallas when I got to Tokyo. They had to we had to alter our flight plan and fly to LA, get restaffed, and then fly to Dallas. Can a plane override a pilot? To a point, right? Like on the Airbus, you can't roll the airplane, right? In normal law. Now, if you force it to alternate law or basic law, you could do a rail roll. But the plane safety features, Boeing and Airbus, are designed to keep you in the box, to keep you in the safe zone. So if you're trying to do something outside of the safe zone, you'd have a good reason to do it. Even the Boeing 777, there's laws. They don't call them laws, but if I do too much of a bank angle, it gets really stiff and it says bank angle, and it's hard for me to exceed a 30-degree bank. Originally to Florida, um, sounding fun. Sounding fun. Oshkosh, I have no idea. I've never been to Oshkosh. I do want to go to Oshkosh, but I haven't been able to bid off those days yet in the past. Thank you, Mr. Hansen. How do you go somewhere special to get fitted for your pilot uniform? Oh, no, do I go somewhere special? Hold on. I shouldn't have had spicy food. We have a fitting area at my airline at the headquarters. You can go in and try all the uniform stuff on, and then they'll take your measurements, and they make your pants just for you, like the uprise and all the numbers. They make them just for you for the pants. The shirts are off the shelf shirts. Some people get them tailored. People have long torsos, and then jackets are. They tell you what size jacket to buy. All three holding regionals they do have very different programs, Gavin. I was surprised by that. I didn't see Envoy today. Today I talked to Commute Air, Piedmont, PSA, and that's it. I didn't. And Endeavor's here somewhere, but I didn't get to talk to Endeavor today. So I'm gonna be today, but couldn't find you. Couldn't comment on your IG either. Adele, I'm very sorry you couldn't comment. Do you follow me on Instagram? You should be able to comment on that or send me a DM. I'll be there again tomorrow. Yeah. I did not get a line for April, G-Man. I purposely bid reserve again. I'm gonna have a video about this because I didn't fly at all in March. They didn't call me at all. So I'm gonna have a video about explaining reserve and how I didn't get called, but I still get paid. And I'm gonna try to explain why it's advantageous for me to bid reserve some months, like when I have vacation. I have vacation again this month. So I'll fly this month, but I have vacation also. You got in on a taxiway in Tampa today? I don't think so. I was in a Max. No, we're on a runway. We landed on the east side of the airport at Southwest. It was really bumpy, really windy. Pretty sure it was a runway. Wait. Our programs where you take applications with 0 certs or minimum requirements for PPL. Clipper, exactly. The term cadet program is all over the place. It's like saying, I have a smartphone. Do you have an iPhone? Do you have an Android? My wife hates this picture. Anyways, do you have a smartphone or you kind of, so the term cadet program has been bastardized, and they have so many different versions of cadet program. You have to figure out what that cadet program has that you need, right? And they all offer different things, and they all want different things from you. Is it really crowded? It's very crowded, Kimberly. It was very crowded today. It'll be even more crowded this weekend and hot. What is the footprint of QQ like at mainline, 3 day systems MV and loft? So, Gavin, it's similar. Ours is 4 days. And I'll have a video about because so I vlogged every single day of my training. I drive to and from the airport, so that's gonna be like a kind of a weird vlog video, but I'll put it up hopefully here soon. Day one was EFB review, human factors, joint with the flight attendants, like but they weren't really there, and then systems review, all on day one, and then day 2, 3, and 4 were in the sim. Yeah. If you're in your current training, did you realize you were important things like um, so this training here is so weird. It's not weird. It's just different. And like my check ride was a normal flight. We did a normal flight in real time from London to JFK. We didn't get very far. We had an issue. We had to divert to Ireland. But how the check ride can get you is if you don't fly by standard operating procedures, if you don't do the flows and profiles correctly, the examiner can tell right away. So we got in the airplane yesterday. I was in the FO seat, the other FO was in the captain seat because it was FO pairing. And he had to play the role of captain. He wasn't graded on it, by the way. If you make mistakes while you're in the captain seat and as an FO, you don't get anything marked against you. But I'm in the FO seat, and the examiner was watching me the entire time. He can't instruct, he can't lead. All he can do is say, "You're at the gate. We're going to JFK," and do it. So it was different, and it's easy to. It's very. I can see so many ways you can screw yourself up doing it. But there'll be my video coming soon. I didn't do as well. I'll look for you tomorrow. Why can I, hold on? I'm gonna check my DM, Adele, because I didn't. No, hold on. Let me double check. Let's see. I got it right now. Oh, I just got it. Oh, but you know what? I got it at 5 o'clock. So I will. I'll DM you tomorrow about where I'm gonna be. If you have X hours of duty hours left and the flight is scheduled under that time, but due to weather, ATC delays, you expect the flight to take longer hours, can you still depart? Brian, no. Nope. So if I have 10 hours left of duty time and it's supposed to be a 9 hour flight, we taxi out and we wait. And now we wait 2 hours. Can't go. Even though I'm legal to keep fly, I can't fly there anymore. But what if we take off and I have 10 hours of duty time left in a 9 hour flight? I'm good, right? And we take off and then we get a reroute. And now it takes me to 12 hours. I'm already airborne. It's fine. Or we take off and 9 hours flight, 10 hours duty time, and we get close to our destination and we have to hold for an hour. Now I'm at 10 hours duty time, 10 hour flight. Uh-oh. And then we divert. Well, now I'm done. Can't fly anymore. Or if we land at a destination and it takes 2 hours to get to the gate, that's still fine. So it depends on where the illegality happens. How's time looking for the rest of the year, Mr. Ramirez? Not good. So again, I talked to some recruiters today, and it's like a 6 month time between you apply to Airline X and you get a class date and you're in class. 6 months from submit application, they review it, they want to hire you 4 to 6 months from right then. That's a long time. Again, when I did my first airline application, I applied in September, like mid-September. I interviewed early October and hired end of October. Now, I got paid $24,000 a year, so it's different times. I realize it might be a bit personal, but sometime I'd love to hear details about your experience with semaglutide. Yeah, no worries, Mr. Williams. I've been thinking about making a video about that, but I don't know how to approach to that, right? It might just be some video of me when I was a bit heavier and just talking about what it's been so far. Yeah, I do, because again, I do want to be open in my videos because again, I've lost almost 70 pounds over the last year, and it hasn't been from me doing pump and iron, right? It's from semaglutide. Newest playing beta today. Thanks for getting back to my DM. Oh yeah, You're very welcome. Yeah, I played X-Plane a lot this week because I was making the content for the Airbus scene, and one, I forgot how awesome the Airbus is to fly, and two, my scenery in DFW is off. And someone told me like a year ago, almost 2 years ago, how to fix it. If you look at my landing in my video, the runway lights are not centered. The runway markings are centered, but the runway lights are off centered, and I don't know how to fix that. But the X plane tallest Airbus is an amazing model. I have the Flight Factor 777, also an amazing model, but the tallest Airbus software package is so much better. I can do so many more scenarios and more easier to set up issues on that plane and scenarios versus the 777. What do you think about the plane going to China but had to turn back because of Palpagras passport? So Ringo, I normally don't comment on incidents or accidents. Now this wasn't an accident or incident, right? So I'll comment on it. I believe, from what I've been told, that China will allow the pilot to go into China, but he would have been on lockdown in his hotel room until he had to leave. And I think that would probably have been the best course of action. I mean, he screwed up. Why punish the whole plane load of passengers plus your crew, plus the next plane load of passengers and their crew, because you got your passport? At this airline, we have a checklist for that. Do you have to know the captain flows when going to training? No. Good question, Mr. Taylor. So you don't have to know them, but I'm familiar, right? I don't know them. I mean, I kind of watch what they do when they're over there. I've been on a plane for a year, but no. When you're in the captain seat, you are not graded on any flows or profiles that are particular to a captain. But what they said yesterday was, hey, listen, we know you have it's an FO pairing. It's not ideal, but on the wide body as an FO, I am in the captain seat, right? As a relief pilot. And there can be a situation where the captain's back of the airplane, gets sick, or even if they're on break, and I have to handle a diversion. The rule of thumb is, and how most captains operate their plane, when they go on break, okay, I'm going on break. You are in charge. Uh, Only call me for a serious emergency or if we're almost to the diversion. Do not call me if we're just doing a medical diversion and it's 2 hours to get to the airport. Or don't call me if it's a yellow caution and you need to hit no. So basically, don't bother the captain unless it's dire. So, la 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 la. Thanks for responding to my DM on Instagram on how to present yourself. Yeah, Mr. Nose, you're very welcome. Again, I'm an introvert, man. I'm on this camera right now talking to you, but in the heart of hearts, I am not one to get the spotlight put on me. So I had to learn how to speak like this. This is not my normal speaking voice. It's not how I normally handle myself. So I put on a fake persona in public, on YouTube, and at public events, right? And that's what you might have to do, right? And you just have to learn how to. For me, it's talking in a certain way in my mannerisms, and this is how I present myself to like recruiters and everything else. Now, if we're sitting here talking and I got to know you very well, this is not how I talk to my friends. And this is not the voice I use with my friends. It's very different. Thank you, Tallus. Aerosoft XP DW is messed up. It is, and I don't like it. I really like X-plane, and I love that Airbus. When I was flying it, I'm like, I like that Airbus. Again, I flew the 777 last night on the sim, right? And it's fine, but I think the Airbus hand flies better than the 777 does. Can you tell the difference between coworkers who are former military pilots and pilots who receive the training on civilian side? RN sometimes, but you can get roped into stereotyping. Generally speaking, the people that are in the military, if they're really military people, um, you can just tell. There's tells. They're not a bad thing. Actually, they're just different. What are your PC specs? I've been eyeing the. Oh, so man, Gavin. Yeah. So, and I saw. I went to iBuyPower a couple days ago. They have a 5090 setup with an AMD Ryzen 9950 CPU, 4 terabyte hard drive. It's $5,000. Right now, I'm rocking a 3080. My computer right now is 2 years old, so it's a 3080, might be a 3080 Super, or maybe I think it's just a regular 3080 from back in 2023. It's an AMD Ryzen something. It was pretty hot crap back in 2023, but I can't fathom spending $5,000 on a computer right now. I want a new computer, and I've read about the 5070 and 50. I watch Gamers Nexus on YouTube, and he basically says the 5070 and 5080 are kind of not great cards. You want a 5090. The 5090 is a $2,000 card. Yeah. So happy it's working for you. I started semaglutide 7 months ago. 45 pounds, dude. Yeah, Clipper. Same thing. My biggest side effect is occasional. Oh, it used to be constipation. Not anymore, thankfully. But I do need to call my doctor to get a re-up of my prescription. Thank you, anime. FO can make, yeah. So yeah, on the 777 on a wide body. Again, if we're over the ocean, going to London or even going to Asia up by Alaska, if we have to divert somewhere, it's not like being over Kansas where you can divert in half an hour. It takes hour and a half, 2 hours to get to a diversion airport. So it's going to take some time. So we have the power to start the diversion with the dispatcher, of course. And then we'll call the captain when needed. So very great at public speaking, especially here live. I've gotten better. I have a pretty big stutter. Stuck up under 10 is great for introverts. It is great for us introverts. My daughter wants TikTok. No. No. Not needed. Sorry. She's 14. Will Kirkland Airlines have single pilot ops even if it gets approved? Not in my lifetime. Same thing happened to us today, baby Kirkland. All my pairings have been FO except one. Yeah. And you know, Mr. Taylor, when I was a new hire at here on the Super Brady, where we were also FO pairing, it's not ideal because you don't get to see like Autolands, right? Done the right way. But it is what it is. Same thing. Hey, Darren, did all my script like 2 weeks ago and loved it at FTY. What kind of decisions are there between like committing to it and making up the career versus something a little bit like a PPL? So, how far do you want to go, Mr. Sylvester? How far do you want to really go? It's when you do that discovery flight, it's like this is pretty cool. I get to fly an airplane. I could do this every single day. But you have to look at your life, your finances, your social situation, and say, can you actually go all the way? And there's nothing wrong with taking a discovery flight and maybe getting your PPL, maybe even getting a sport pilot license, and just go fly on nice days every now and then, just to get back up there and taste it, because it's a big commitment, especially nowadays. If you want to go from zero all the way through airline pilot, that's like a 3-year commitment, and it's scary financially and emotionally because you're going to start down this road and you have no idea at the end of this journey if you'll make it as far as if you have the skills to do all the ratings, and two, even if you get to the finish line, what is the job market going to be like in 3 years? No one knows. We can all speculate based on retirements, but economic stuff, right? Worldwide economic downturn, surprise, surprise, could change everything. So it is not for the faint of heart. But I'll say this: you have one life, right? We each have one life, and you miss it. What I think it was who said? Some basketball player said, "You miss every shot you don't take." So if you never try it, you will never do it. So I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. And people, prices are nuts. They are, but the iBuy Power, they don't have much markup on them. The is $2,000 if you can find it exactly. Xbox PC is a niche YouTube version of G. Oh, Gamers Nexus, yeah. Sorry. For explain specifics. Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, my favorite channels. What do I watch on YouTube? I watch Gamers Nexus, Linus Tech Tips, a lot of car YouTube. A lot of car YouTube. Doug is the man. Sorry. How often do you know the other crew you fly with? Almost never on the 777. I've flown the same pilots maybe twice. Most time it's always a new captain. Always a new captain. Thanks for all the info. Just turned 39 this month. Also have a mild stutter, which gives me pause for concern, but I'm determined and I'm going to make it through. Cargo or airlines, Mr. Hayslip. So I know people that do both. I have some buddies I flew with, I learned to fly with at ATP. That one of them's a 7.6. He's on a 777 captain now at Atlas. Loves it. He started at ExpressJet, which is now folded, but he started in the passenger world with the cargo. Loves it. Another buddy of mine started at Wisconsin. He's now a UPS 747 captain. Loves it. You could not catch me doing cargo. I like people. I like talking to people. Sorry, I'm texting a well-known TikToker that we probably all know bought their first electric car, and so I'm helping them out on that duty. Um, but you can catch me doing cargo. I like people, and I like the benefits that I get as a passenger airline pilot. Again, my family can non-rev for free on my airline. I work for cargo; they couldn't ride in back at FedEx for free. They can Z, but that's a whole different thing. Do you use lounges for your non-revs? I do. It's harder nowadays because a lot of lounges do not let non-revs in anymore. But I can use my airline club because my wife has a credit card that gives me access, and I can use the Capital One Venture X Lounge in the select cities, and then the Priority Pass network as well. Right when your live last cut out, you were talking about how you know the pilots for the trash bags. Yes, Mr. Twirler. So on the Airbus, because in 777, where's it back? On the 777, we do it differently. Well, there's still a Miami and Dallas thing, but anyways, on the Airbus, if the captain was a legacy Kirkland pilot, a legacy where I work at pilot, they would put the trash bag on the FO armrest, and that's where it hung, and that's where most people put it. If they were a legacy U.S. Airways pilot, they would tie it in a certain fashion on the center console in a very unique and telling way. And if they're an America West pilot, they also tie it on the center console, but in a different way than the U.S. Airways pilots did it. It was very telling. Like I'd walk in and went, "Oh, you're America West." They all flew fine, and in fact, the America West pilots and the U.S. Airways pilots knew the Airbus way better than the legacy pilots of my own airline, because the America West and U.S. Airways pilots, they started with the Airbus a long time ago. So those guys and gals knew the Airbus, really all the quirks and features of the Airbus. What airplanes are you teaching your kids to fly? Oh, none. My kids have no desire to be pilots. From one computer nerd to the next, please stand your ground on TikTok. It's one of the biggest security nightmare. It's not just that. My kid's 14, and I can, I'm a dad, and I'm a modern dad, but I have her phone locked down pretty hard. So yeah, she doesn't need TikTok. Thanks for all you do. Just turned 50. IT manager at the municipality. Is it too hard late for me to become a pilot with the goal of being a captain with the major airlines? Mr. Dames, it's not. 50 is getting close to the limit to be a captain at major, right? But here's an advantage you have. You're 50. You know how life works. And if you're 20, you think, I know how life works. You don't. When you're 50, you know how life works. You know how to get crap done. You know how to set goals, reach the goals. You know how to zig and zag to get to the goals you need. Realistically, you could be at a regional in 3 years. I'm plan A, right? A regional 3 years. captain in 6 years. So at 56, you'd be a captain at a regional. You could then probably go to mainline by the time you're 40, by the time you're 59, 60, being super realistic, leaving you 5 years at mainline to easily make captain. Or you could always get to 1,500 hours in 3 years. Um, then you could always go like the LCC route, like a Allegiant, Spirit, Frontier route, mainline airplane, and still be captain there if they're hiring the way they used to be. But yeah, there's ways to do it. At 50, you still have time to reach the captain of the mainline. Now you won't be captain of a 777, but you can realistically retire at 65 as a captain at a mainline airline, and then you have two skills at that point: IT and flying, right? So you can say, hey, I like this kind of thing, and you can get a job at the airline with that can combine both of those roles, right? As a non pilot employee, you could be an instructor at the airlines, teaching people in the sim or in the schoolhouse. And there's a whole group of guys and gals that do IT pilot stuff that I don't know what they do. So there you go. And thank you for your support. Hey, from West Florida, Wayne Gretzky, Hey, Michael Scott. Oh, all the shots. Hey, Tyler took the leap. Tyler, he took the leap. It kind of reminds me of City of Angels. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. Right? He's nervous about jumping, but you did it. How come you prefer the 145 or 175? The 145 is the safest airliner in the world. It hand flies better than the 175, and it's a fun plane to fly. The 175 was not fun to fly. It was cool, had engine under the wings, but it wasn't fun to fly. Linus and DDD Stradman too. There you go. What about say Linus Tech Tips? GOTFD is one of my regulars on YouTube. Oh, haha. But I already do have my first class medical. So you're good then. Can definitely see the Doug DeMuro influence in my car videos. Yes. Again, Doug, I love what Doug has done. And because Doug, if you don't know what Doug DeMuro is, you should. He has never changed from day one. I hope I haven't changed except my glasses and I guess I lost weight, but I haven't. I don't want to change who I am ever. And I like how Doug is the same guy. Doug seems like a guy you can just be sitting down, chilling, and talking with. Right? He's very approachable in his videos. I'm behind. Love your content. Where do you get all your unique eyewear? If the flight times were different, would you like to go to Argentina? All my glasses come from all over the internet. I need to buy new glasses. I get them from Phi 2, all these weird places in China. Phi 2, Goggles for You, Zenny Optical, Lucal. I would like to go to Argentina. I think Buenos Aires. Is it Buenos Aires? Buenos Aires is in Argentina, right? Yeah, don't cry for me, Argentina. Yeah. If the flight times are better, I would like to go to Buenos Aires more, but they're not good. Yeah, they're very different between legacies airlines. Do you know if the 737 or Airbus 320 are better on fuel consumption? It more has to do with the engines, but I think the Airbus is more economical than the 737, as it's a lighter weight frame to start off. The old 737 was built when gas was cheap. Even the frame is the same old frame, heavy. I have watched Stick Aviation on YouTube. I've met Stick Aviation one time. Stick is the best. Hey, Brazil. If you could buy a GA plane, which one would I pick? A Cirrus jet, Cirrus Vision jet. I saw one today at the sign-in fund. I'm like, that's my kind of plane. It's millions of dollars. I'll never buy one, but I'd buy a Cirrus jet. Side stick action. If your airlines get the new 777, would you be ready to fly it? Yes. Good question. So if we got the 777X here, yeah, it'd be a similar to getting the Airbus Neos when I was on the Airbus, right? So if we get a new version of Airbus, if it's along the same type rating, it's just a handout, and it's a differences trainer. Like my check ride was on a 777-200. I was told about the 300. The differences: bigger wingspan, different engines, different screens. On the Airbus, my Airbus type rating was in a 321. Actually, my Airbus, every Airbus somebody has a 320. I can buy 2021. Good question. Legacy AA and Legacy US Air flight attendants had hundreds of quirks like that. One being the direction the drawers on the top cart faced. I bet they. Oh, and I bet you could even tell the former TWA flight attendants. We had some TWA flight attendants at Eagle, and they were all amazing on service. But I could always spot a TWA flight attendant from a non-TWA flight attendant. They were very good on. They're very big on service. Are there any differences? And then are there any differences working for mainline versus low cost carriers? Yeah, mainline has a lot more resources available. Money and resources, right? People and things that they have that the I've talked to like my friends at Spirit and Allegiant and Frontier, and we all fly similar airplanes. But the apps I have access to, are so much more broad and vast than the apps they have for work related. These are all apps my airline puts on my iPad for me. So I have a lot more data at my hands than they do. And then, of course, there's always the money thing, right? And then the ability to fly where you want to, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with Spirit, Frontier, Allegiant. I have friends that work there. They're very happy there. Nothing wrong with those airlines. Period. Safe, confident pilots. And yeah. Anyways, but I can go to the airport tomorrow and fly on my own airline to China. I can fly my own airline to Australia, or to Middle East, or to Europe, to Mexico, South America on my own airline, right? Versus low cost carrier, you can't just go on your own airline. That's probably and fly out to all those places. So, and the number of airframes I can fly. Now Delta has the most. Delta has so many freaking airframes. You can go fly a 330, 75, 76, 777. No. Sorry, Airbus 330, Airbus 350, 75, 76. They have a bunch of airplanes over there. Versus we have, a low cost carrier probably has one, maybe two. Have an interview at Envoy next month. Any tips? Have someone go through your logbook, and make sure it all makes sense. And then I don't necessarily pay for interview prep, but if you have any boo-boos, accidents, incidents, explain them and own them. Don't ever place blame on anyone else. 100% agree. On from a pastor perspective, was way more apparent before the roster merged. Man, talk about career upset. Started my commercial. Feel like I'm losing interest. Maybe I'm burnt out. I hated my commercial, Mr. Sulk. The commercial section, I didn't like at all. I didn't like the written portion. I hated Chandel's Lazy Eights. But remember why you got into this whole gig, right? You're getting close to the finish line for the first chapter of your life anyway. But not all training is fun, and some of it is very boring and very disinterested. And you just have to kind of just power through it. I promise you, training gets more boring. Training gets more boring later in your career. It just does, and not airplane training, like boring airline stuff. Yeah. Darren should look into Jacques Mary Major glasses. They're expensive. No, nope. See, you said expensive. Do you know how frugal I am? I make videos about how much money I make. I'm not gonna say it now. I could have got a hotel in Lakeland, Florida today and driven 10 minutes. It was $400 a night at like a Holiday Inn Express. I drove an hour and 15 minutes to Orlando, Florida to save $200, which is a lot of money. But right, I wanted something sweet to eat. So I went down to the lobby, and they had like little, I'm in a Fairfield Inn. They had like little, not gift shop, but like little shop you can buy stuff. It was $5 for some Reese's peanut butter cups. I'm like, I'm not paying $5 for Reese's. No, thank you. So I didn't have anything. I'm very frugal. I'm not spending that much money on glasses. I'm only making the jump so I can buy the new Volvo EX90. I do like you know what? Mr. Herrick, I like the EX90. I test drove that Pulse R3, the cousin to the EX90. Amazing sound system. It drove great. There's some software stuff though. They got some they'll figure the software stuff out. The EX90 looks amazing. Right now, they don't have any good incentives to get it, but I got the stupid ribbon anyway. What planes, other than those you're rated on, do you like in flight sim? I'm kind of boring that way. In flight sim, I just fly like general aviation props or the planes I'm type rated in. That's it. What other ratings do I have, Mr. Ramirez? So I don't have. So I'll tell you the planes I flew versus the rating because they're not all the same. I started off on the CRJ 700, then I went to the Embraer 145, then I went back to the CRJ 700 again as a captain, then the 175 as a captain, and then the MD-80 series as an FO, Airbus 319, 320, 321 as an FO, and Boeing 777, 200, 300 as an FO. If you were to join a regional today, what would it be? Maybe Envoy, Eagle. I am a 100% quality of life person. I don't care if the new hotness is some airline that's going to pay me double, but I have to be based in Montana. I'm not going to commute for it. It wouldn't be prudent. Hey, Darren, just want to thank you because your content helped me pursue aviation. Just did my solo at 12 hours. Want to thank the Lakeland, but I can't. Hopefully one day we'll run each other. Hey, Mr. Oliveras, recognize your name, dude. Dude, knuckles to you, man. It's so easy to keep saying one day, man. I'm going to do it one day. And you're freaking doing it. You are soloed. You were the PI, you're the unofficial PIC. You did that. You took off today. You landed. Was it today? No, recently. Recently, you took off and you landed. You. Nice work. And thank you for your support. Hey, Mr. Hedges, all is very well. Do you still come across any active TWA flight attendants? Yes, they're harder to spot. Well, not really. On the Airbus I did, on the triple, most of them aren't senior enough to hold it. Pilots, yes. So understand why that United flight turned around. Yeah, there are procedures for it. But I don't know for United. Video and alive in the same day. Yeah, because I'm in a hotel and I'm bored. So on the trip I'm on right now, I didn't bring my gaming device, so I have no games to play. So I figured I'd do it live. I like the options your airline has. I'm flying to London in September from Chicago, but it's a co-share on British Airways. I like the British Airways Airbus 350s. Darren, you should look into nope, expensive. Circuits were boring. Speaking of training, my wife hated circuits too. God, I thought glasses were the expenses. Oh no, no, I don't. I'm $2 more towards a Vision Jet. Exactly. Surprised your internet is so good. I'm very surprised too, but I think because I'm in a hotel close to SeaWorld, and all the families are at SeaWorld, so the internet's wide open. On the topic of Airbus fuel efficiency, which has better fuel burn comparing the CM56 to the V2500? That one's easy. The CM56 was better on fuel, but the V2500 was more powerful as far as down. Yeah, from what I remember, the CFMs started faster, were more fuel efficient, but weren't as powerful, while the IAEs took longer to start, were very smelly on shutdown, but were more powerful. What's your favorite sport gas car powered? I don't have a favorite gas car. Mm-mm. Although my current rental car, not that you guys really care, is a Mitsubishi. I have never driven a Mitsubishi before. Well, never rented one. It's a Mitsubishi Outlander. Outlander? Yeah, SC. Yeah, Outlander, SEL. It's very nice. Has heated and cooled seats, sunroof. It got 30 miles per gallon, which is not very good, but it's a big SUV, so I guess it's pretty good. Last time I came on the Sun Fun was 2 years ago. I was able to rent a Polestar electric car. Loved it. But now you can't rent. You can't. It's harder to rent EVs nowadays. I hate renting gas cars. They smell. I think you mentioned you used to commute to Chicago. I did. How are the trips out of Chicago for your company? No, they have the Airbus there now, but I have no idea how the trips are though. I don't look at the trips, Mr. Anderson. I'm sorry. Um, I used to commute to Chicago at Eagle. I haven't flown to Chicago yet on the triple. I flew there a handful of times on the Airbus and on the AMD 80. How's your flight schedule look for April? Any interesting trips? Mr. Hall, I am on reserve because I have vacation again in April. Sorry, I have vacation again in April, so I am on reserve again. Love to hear you giving GA some love on the sim. Yeah, it is. I love that. GA is, yeah. I was thinking it's far more exciting to fly compared to airline. I do. Because, a lot of people want to fly a 777 on flight sim, and that's cool. Get it, right? But if in my head, if you're not doing the procedures correctly and if you don't know how the systems work, then you're just kind of farting around. In the 172, it's kind of easy to fly around. Are you gonna buy the Switch 2? No. I have a Switch OLED. I never play. I have a lot of gaming devices I don't ever use. So right now I'm playing I normally carry the Lenovo Pro, like Windows gaming device. Working full time and training for your PPO is tough. It is. Been hacking at this since July. 95% check ride ready. Hey, James, you got this, man. And it is hard, dude. I was right there with you. I work 40-hour a week job doing all my ratings. Anyone want to fly 747 Airbus 380? I would, but it's not an option for me. Have the same seniority as those poor TWA flight attendants hired in 2013. They got shafted. They did. They did. But you know what? Most TWA flight crew, most were happy and appreciative to have a job. Quick question. You said you're a gamer. Do you have a high-end game PC? I have a 3080. It's 2 years old. I want a new gaming PC. I don't need one, but I want one. But I'm cheap. Does Airline count towards the pilot flying landing currency? I don't know. That'd be a captain thing. That'd be a captain thing. So I don't know. I don't think so. Darren saw a Frontier plane at TTN. It was a 321. Only used 4,500 feet of runway. No, Mr. Nobes. Good question. They were probably halfway full. If you're pretty empty, you can, because we took a. What did we take off? I've taken off on some short runways in an Airbus. You take like a flaps 3 takeoff, toga, APU on, kind of thing. It can do it, but you can't be full or a short flight. Her DVs are more expensive to insure. It can be depending on the EV and the repairability wise. Like my wife was looking at getting rid of her Model Y and getting a Nissan Ariya. It was be more expensive than her Model Y to insure, and that was kind of weird. A lot of it has to do with just fixing it, and not the battery, but the panels. And like when Tesla first started, they were expensive to insure because they had problems getting parts. Well, that's how much the parts availability. Almost done. I got about 10 more minutes left. Engines powered at 777 variants. We have Rolls-Royce and GE engines. Rolls-Royce on the 200 and GE on the 300. Pros and cons of each. On the 200, we can start on both at the same time. 300, one at a time. 300 engines are much more powerful. 70 pounds is an amazing effort. Yeah, medicine works. Walmart optical here, cheap frames, and still costs less if I use my insurance at one of the brand name stores. Walmart optical is good, but I like the crazy ones I can get online. Like I brought a lot of glasses with me because I'm silly. They're in my suitcase though. But I did bring some fun glasses with me though. As a fellow gamer pilot, would you recommend a Steam Deck or trying to get a more powerful laptop? Oh, so yeah. I used to bring a gaming laptop. It's too much to carry. Like right now, I'm talking in a MacBook Air 13. A Steam Deck is easier easier to pack than a laptop. You think it wouldn't be, but battery life and it's specs wise, right? You can get a Steam Deck for $500. A $500 gaming laptop would not do you the same abilities as a Steam Deck would. I also allowed to drink alcohol on layovers. Yes. Captain Cat 23LN can count toward one of the 3 lanes in 90. Thank you. Didn't know that. Because I ain't a captain. Thank you very much, NW Cole. What do you think of the cadet programs for the airlines as someone who got their PPL and CFI? So, Yusuf, this is why I came here. Because part of the reason why I came to Senate Fund is to talk to some of these recruiters. And they're kind of telling me that, like, 80% of the hires at the regionals now are going to come from their cadet programs. So while you don't have to, it looks like that's going to be like a better way. But of course, they have so many versions of the cadet program. So you kind of have to pick your poison. Are there any international airports that give you a hard time at customs? Yes, Mexico and London. Have you ever been to Finland? I have not. Yeah, Darren, did your IT career make it easier to become a pilot? My IT career made it easy to become a pilot because I could study during my breaks. That's it. I was a cubicle guy, right? No, but it helped me be. It helped in a way that I was older. You know, I was 29 years old when I first started this journey. I was 28, 28 years old. I was 28 when I first started flying. So I was a little bit older, a little bit more mature. How do you put the prescription lenses into the frames? Oh no, I don't. I order complete glasses. So I order the whole. These all came from somewhere online in China. I mean, FO gets a land credit for Cat 2, Cat 3. Really? Not here. Cat, not here. Where I work now, if it's a Cat 2, Cat 3 auto land, it's the captain landing. I don't put that into my system at all. Just left Florida. Already miss it. It's hot, steamy. Gotcha. Because I'm hearing so many FO stories. People with low hours not getting into cadet programs and struggling to build time. It's hard, and I don't envy people right now going on this journey because you won't know if you made the right choice or not until you get to your first airline. Your 777 trip, I haven't been able to get yet. Yes, Dublin and Frankfurt. And with all the respect, suddenly anyone giving a hard time to cadets for spending more money looks kind of silly. It does look kind of silly, right? No, but we're giving people crap for going to cadet program. Again, there's pros and cons to it. But talking to the people today, it seems like if you know that you want to be a pilot for Tijuana Flats Airlines, then going to the Tijuana Flat Cadet program is a way to get to where you want to be. This stupid iPhone, this is iPhone 15 Pro Max, blah, 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 blah. It makes phone calls. It takes pictures. I can buy a cheaper phone that does the same thing. I see value in this phone. I bought this phone. You see value in a cadet program? And again, this phone does amazing things as well. But holy cow, a lot of questions at once. Big 141 just finished up instructing at the only people leaving are in the Propel. Not much movement in terms of regionals from our perspective. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be. I think the regionals are making the cadet programs so prioritized that way they can keep their regional staffed. Now, I was talking to Commute Air today, and they were saying that they don't have a time commitment. So you can join United Aviate, get on with the Commute Air pretty quick, and you can jump real quick. You don't have a financial penalty for leaving. How much time? I'm good on time. How many hours do you sleep at night when at home? 6 to 7. I go to bed at 10, fall asleep around 11. I wake up at 5, 6. In your opinion, should pilots at the bottom of the seniority list be worried with the current economic slowdown? Yes. If you're in the bottom 25% of any seniority list, you should not be balling with your money. You should always be tinfoil hat. I'm not in the bottom 25%, and I'm still tinfoil hat. S&P up for all ends and everything else makes a big difference. Company, it does. Do you think aircraft manufacturers reach out to pilots to improve economics? I think they reach out to their own pilots, not to like line pilots at airlines. But I do think Airbus are more ergonomic than Boeing's. Do you think knowing people at airlines like personally will help? Yes. Yes. Knowing people, especially recruiters, absolutely helps. I got this job because I borderline stalked a recruiter. He never called the cops on me. But I kept in constant contact with a recruiter at my airline. I said, hey, man, this is where I am. Hey, man, this is where I am. Hey, look, this is what I'm doing right now. That got me the job, not a checkbox on any application form, not my amazing resume. Sorry, borderline stalking a recruiter, got me the interview. Borderline stalking a recruiter at an airline and getting to know him and taking his advice got me the interview. From that point on, I had to earn the job. Work in cybersecurity, making decent money. My ultimate goal is to be a pilot. I'm 26. Biggest decision to quitting my job and going full time in training or part time school. Kyle, I do part time school. You got good money where you are now. Make a calendar and train minimum 2 days a week. 2 days a week, minimum every week. Every week, 3 days is better, but 2 days minimum. You can bankroll your own training. It might take you 4 or 5 years. So what? You're 31 years old. You have all your ratings and no debt. That leaves you 35 years of flying left and no debt. Do you share with your coworkers your intentions to switch careers? Yes. Well, yeah. My boss knew I was quitting when I was in IT because I, I had all my like commercial manual and private pilot, Glime textbooks on my desk, and I would read them during my breaks. She knew I was quitting. She said, "How long do I have?" I went, 6 months. Uh, but you can keep it hush. But yeah, they all knew I was quitting. Would you recommend joining multiple cadet programs? I would not. I would join whichever one that. Well, you be careful, right? Because here's the thing. Let's say you live in Boston, and you join every cadet program out there, and then you get into one, and you get a West Coast base. You get on some airline that has only West Coast bases, and now you're commuting across the country. If you're single and no pets and no life, you can do it. If you're normal, probably not. Team Flats is my new favorite company. That should be a new airline. I might get sued for that one. But I don't know. Kirkland didn't sue me. Hey, Darren, Dallas native here, working on my comm and hoping to work for your airline one day. Thoughts on how to stand out to major at a regional? Going to job fairs, doing interview prep. So if you're at a regional now, pay for your interview prep. Don't let anyone tell you different. If you want to be at a major airline, you could probably have one chance at an interview. Why not stack the deck in your favor as much as you can? You go get fitted for an actual real suit. Spend the money. Spend the money on interview prep. Spend the money on make sure your resume, one page, looks as good as it can. Get a nice cover for your logbook and make sure that thing is spotless. If the airline convention is coming up and you can't get the days off, then you better figure out how to get there and drive. Or you know what? Cough, cough, buy airline tickets and fly or drive. Helps a lot. Have a PPL check ride soon. Any advice? Hey, Quincy. Yeah, first check ride ever. You have no idea what a check ride is, right? You have no idea. You heard stuff, you have no idea. You will make mistakes on your check ride. You're going to do stupid things on your check ride that you've never done before. You have to learn to keep flying. I made a boneheaded maneuver this week in the sim. I did something in the sim this week I have never done in my career, and it bothered me immensely. But I had to brush off my shoulder and keep flying. Didn't have a choice to sit there and dwell on it, right? So you make mistakes. Check rides are not about being perfect. It's about being proficient. You can't let a mistake on your check ride bother you, because if you do, you'll keep screwing up more and more and more. And sometimes you make a mistake and the examiner didn't even see it. But if you dwell on it, then you're gonna start making more mistakes. Or you dwell on it, say, and then maybe you'll tell me you made a mistake. As long as you're flying, you're still in the fight. You're still in the fight. And no, I'm not gonna tell you what I did that Bohem maneuver I did in the sim, so don't ask. Any advice before starting CFI training? It sucks. CFI school is hard. It's a rodeo. It's a lot, and you feel overwhelmed, and that's normal. What makes the day drag longer? Crappy weather or crappy crew? Crappy crew. Yep, I'm just reinvesting in the same place that invested in me. Exchange for long. job, long game, exactly. Networking is always helpful no matter what, exactly. From what you've seen, how have military pilots done in terms of getting hired in majors after military? I don't, I don't see a lot. I know that I know for a while a lot of them are skipping the regionals. Do you know you're always very welcome, sir? Also, how do I convince my skeptical family that pilots are not gone 24/7? They seem to think pilots have no family life. Show them my videos. Say, look at this schmuck right here. Look at this guy. First, look at his glasses. Look at his glasses. Second, look, he's been married for 20 years. He has 2 kids, right? His kids know his names. I am exceptionally average. I am exceptionally average. There you go. Hey there, I'm currently going for my rating, working full time, flying under the hood with no pilot. It's incredibly fatiguing. It is very fatiguing. And hopefully, Daniel, you're not doing that in not more than 20 minutes. So, we had a hand fly the sim this week, and it's even hand flying a 777 for like 10 minutes, not under the hood, but just flying around is very like. I'm sorry, I missed you at 7 Fun. I docked you. I'll be there tomorrow for a bit. I live right between 2 wholly owned regional bases, about an hour drive. It's either base for me, contemplating whether or not to join. You could join, apply to both to see which one calls you first. Airline pilot recruiters for major airlines, do they have a HR or pilot background? Pilot background. The top 50% of captains on the Q400 makes decent money. How did you get over going back to the bottom of the majors? Because it's a dip, right? So you're in the top 15%, but you're gonna hit a ceiling at some point, right? Aircraft wise, pay wise, trip wise, you're gonna hit the ceiling. But if you go to the major, you take a dip. You do, but you're gonna climb up again, and you'll have a much higher ceiling. Right? Yeah. I One day I wanted to be able to go to the airport, hop on an airplane, and fly across an ocean. That was never gonna happen at a regional. Last one is the actual Darren. Then I gotta go. Hey, Darren, it is Darren. The most intelligent and well-kept people in the world are named Darren. Darren. Daron. Those guys are absolute freaks and should be avoided. What was your worst academic subject during my pilot training? So we don't really have subjects here in the U.S. It was just I hated the CFI stuff. It was all abstract. I went to school to be a teacher, but all the CFI abstract learning stuff was just a lot for me. And 2 years at a wholly owned with a flow to only legacy. I can be home based at home. Not sure to stick it out or throw apps out there still. I would throw apps out there, but if it's just 2 years and you go to mainline and home based, I've been married 20 years, buddy. Me being home based has a lot to do with that. With that, I'm going to be done. Again, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I have a new video, at least on Thursdays. I have lots of videos in the tank, so I have to have time to actually edit them. But if you have a question, drop them in the comments. You can message me on Instagram or email me at darren@darrenbird.com. Have a great day. And as always, find the clicker button. Thank you for stopping by. Boo!